Hi, it's Matt Kendall here again on Jubilee weekend for the Queen. 70 years, I think is 70 years. Anyway, right. I've got David Kennedy with me today in his pirate radio booth, it seems. David did his IMT training in March of this year, so 3 months ago. And we've just been through his case studies now, so he can become a certified IEMT practitioner. So, hello, David. Whereabouts in the world are you at the moment?
I'm just outside Belfast in a place called Bangor, new city, just for the celebrations of the centenary, or not centenary, it's the Jubilee.
Yeah. Excellent. So, before you sort of learned about IEMT and everything like that, what were you doing? What's your career? What were you doing before you did this course?
Well, I've been several years now, and I'm an emergency medical technician at present, and working just on frontline A&E cases. And I've decided that coming up to my retirement, which is going to be fairly shortly, that I'm going to branch out and do some therapy stuff for myself. I see a lot of people within my role with mental health problems. And I don't think necessarily there's a particularly good system in place for a lot of them. So I was interested in looking at what I could do. Really, I looked at the EMDR therapies as opposed to IEMT, because I didn't know anything about IEMT at the time. But find that was a sort of a short door for me, because they wouldn't allow anybody who wasn't already a therapist to go through that. I'd been studying hypnosis and hypnotherapy for a while, but that wasn't something that they'd endorse. So I was left with nothing to go down, no further possibilities in that road. And it wasn't until I started looking at other aspects that I found IEMT, thought it was something that really that would fit my needs very well. And
how was it you actually found IEMT? Was it on YouTube? Was it Google? Or was it through recommendation?
I think initially it was on YouTube. I came across one of the videos, and then I came across the book on IEMT.
Oh yeah.
And I purchased that, and that's really what got me into it. Then I saw that it was more of a there was more research behind it than what I had thought initially, and therefore it was something that looked as if it was a good, not only a reasonable option. I thought actually it was a very good option, because it seemed to be really backed up by research, and I know Andrew's done an awful lot of stuff with it.
Yeah, because so you're an emergency technician. So is that the same as a paramedic, or is it?
No, not quite at the same level. I help paramedics.
Okay,
they're the people with the brains. I just
okay, right, okay. Yeah. But obviously, in a job role like that, and your colleagues, you're going to experience a lot of trauma because of stuff that you've seen. And we've had, on the IMT course, we've had a number of blue light services, police, fire brigade, ambulance, Royal Air Force and stuff we've had as well, actually, an army, because obviously they witness an awful lot of stuff. And in another interview I did with a guy called Gary Pignon, who's a former policeman, he experienced something really bad. I don't know what it was whilst working. And so he was classed as having PTSD, and they basically sent him off for counselling. And all they did was he was talking about what happened every week, which he didn't want to do. And it made him worse. And he knows an awful lot of colleagues that are in the same position as well, that they don't want to talk about what they've seen, what's happened. They just want to kind of change how they feel, and all these images in their head and everything. So it's really great that we're sort of with your background and understanding that there is a big mental health sort of crisis in our sort of frontline services. And I know you're saying you're going to retire from that soon, and hopefully starting up your own your own company.
That's the plan, yes.
Yeah. But then I think that you'll really resonate with people from your background, because you've been through that background as well. So you've been through it. So you went on to YouTube, you're looking at EMDR, but obviously EMDR is a much longer course. It's sometimes like a year or two, I believe. It's quite expensive. You do need to be a mental health professional or a medical professional to actually get into the EMDR IA, which is the International Association. There are other EMDR courses out there, but they're not certified by the International Association. So I don't know how valid they are in a sense. I've got you frozen at the moment. Hopefully it'll kick back in a second. Well, Jesse, the wonders of Zoom. Are you there, David?
Yeah, I'm sorry, my internet connection is not very good.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Yes, back again.
I'm here.
We're back again.
Sorry, it's my internet. I haven't got proper internet here.
No problem. Oh, okay. And so with IEMT, obviously you don't need any prior qualifications to actually do the course.
That's right.
I do prefer people to have therapy experience because they have a better understanding of therapy, and so they will tend to get more out of it rather than somebody who has no experience. But you've already been training in hypnosis and hypnotherapy as well.
That's correct, yes. Yeah.
Okay, and then you went onto YouTube, you bought the IEMT book, Sonia's book. I would reach it, but it's out. I will always keep it just like outreach. So Sonia Richards wrote the book about IEMT.
She did.
And so you read that, and then you did some, and then did you come across my videos on YouTube? How did you find me?
I think I just did a search for courses. Initially, I think I was looking for courses over here. But of course, there doesn't seem to be too much going on over here as usual. So your name popped up, and I did a look on YouTube for yourself, and I came across a couple of the things that you've been doing. It looked like what you were talking about looked like a reasonably good teacher, and I think that was the way that I went to them and just applied for the course.
Cool. Now it took you a little while to come on because of shift patterns and everything. We did the course. It's a weekend course over 2 days. I will be doing it over 3 days during the week as well at some point. But we did a course over the weekend. Before the course, I send you all the information, all the materials. Then we have the actual course itself, and then we have the post-course stuff. So basically, what did you think of the course? What did you think about the materials, the presentation, the exercises, the demonstrations, and how's it been with the post-course continuity, I suppose?
Well, before the course, as you say, you send out all the information, the materials, the course manual. You also send out instructions on what's necessary to be online with the course as far as camera setups are concerned, audio, and all this, the Zoom issues that people might face. Information about how to get that all set up, which is really, really helpful. That was good. The pre-course reading material was good. You also sent links to some of your videos. So all in all, I thought that the ground preparation for the course was very well structured, put out, had the right amount of information for us to come on to the course and feel as if we had some sort of a knowledge of what we were coming into to face. When we came onto the course, it wasn't a particularly large course. There was enough people that we were able to interact in meeting rooms, and we're able to have a change of partners and without feeling overwhelmed by having too many people either, and in the mix. Everybody seemed to be getting on very well. Everybody had a good sort of basis to come from. They all had some sort of a knowledge of IEMT and of their own backgrounds as far as therapists were concerned. Whatever that was. The course itself was well structured again. It started off assuming no initial knowledge really. You just came in and the whole thing just unfolded very easily. It all made sense. Anything that was problematic for anybody, you went over and elaborated on and explained very, very well. Whenever it came to practicing, we were all put out into breakout rooms, and it was really easy again. there was enough time given for us to talk through the exercises that we're doing, carry them out, and then Matt would have been sort of hanging around in the background, jumping in every so often if we needed any help. It was very easy to get that. All in all, I thought it was a really, really interesting course, very well structured. And it just made life very easy. It just made the whole progress through the courses very, very easy. I never felt overwhelmed by the information given. I was never feeling overload. And it was really good. By the end of the course, we felt that you know, it was something that we were able to do and go on and take this further out into our lives, which was great.
And because that's what you obviously do after you do the weekend course, you then go and work with some case studies.
That's right.
So from not using IEMT at all, doing a weekend course, then going to work with your case studies that we've just been through, and they're both really, really good, and you've had some really good results. What was it like then working with people who have no idea about what IEMT is? And so how did you find applying it in the real world?
I felt that it was interesting. I was lucky enough that I was referred to the two people, three friends that I was with, and so there wasn't any great expectations, I think, on me at the time to work wonders. But I went and I spoke to them, and the great thing about the IEMT is it doesn't rely on people believing in what you're saying or anything like that. It's just it's a system that you work your way through. And even though I think the people that I worked with were perhaps a little unsure of whether there would be a good outcome with the system or not, I think it very, very quickly proved itself. And I think that whenever we first start with somebody, we work on a memory that isn't to do with what we're going to be working on properly for the day, and I think that works as a convincer.
It does,
very, very well. I think once that was shown to have an effect, I think that was really where the change work was able to take place very, very easily and very rapidly after that, very effectively.
And as you said, you don't need to have the will. Obviously, when you have confidence and you can flow, your results will probably kind of just get better, as you know, naturally. But with a lot of sort of stuff, including sort of a lot of NLP and coaching and hypnosis, a lot of it's to do with the will of the practitioner. IEMT is like me giving you a spanner and a screwdriver. You know, basically, if you just follow the steps, you're going to get very sort of likely outcomes, or not. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But most of the people, most of the time, we tend to get kind of very good results. And you actually did work with somebody, we're not going to go into personal details or anything, that was involved in, you know, a road traffic accident.
That's right.
Which is something which I'm sure you're quite familiar with in your line of work. And how was it working with somebody who'd been through something like that and the results which they've experienced as a result?
Well, the nice thing was that they had no expectations of the outcome. And the good thing about the IEMT as well is that you're not promising that there's going to be something happening. You're just going through a process with them. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't, as you said. And so explaining that at the very start, they knew exactly that, you know, we're just going through this and we'll see how it goes. And that takes a lot of pressure off the practitioner, as far as I'm concerned, anyway.
It does,
So, but it went really well. We went through various parts of the process. I mean, I took them through simple kinesthetics. Then we went through the integrated kinesthetics as well. Went through the PTSD model, that you've got the linchpin model. So we went through a whole lot of different aspects of it over 2 different sessions. And after the first session was completed, there was a change within the person, and a very noticeable change within the way they were feeling about the whole thing. And I think with the week in between times, it really just manifested itself. So whenever they came back the second time, they were much more they're much more involved in the whole system than they were. I think the first time they were maybe a little bit withdrawn from it, if you know what I mean. They were just sort of holding themselves back. They didn't want to invest themselves too much in it, possibly because they were worried about getting disappointed by it. But by the time the first session was over, I think that their worries about that had been calmed, and they were really sort of more invested and putting themselves forward much more. And by the time the second session had ended, I had gone through the whole process basically by that stage. The change within them was, was beyond doubt. It was evident, and they could see that. And they hadn't had that experience before.
Well, that's great. Had they had any other form of
that was great for me as well.
And had they had any other forms of counselling or therapy for that particular issue?
Not for that particular issue, no. They hadn't. They had previous talking therapies, CBT.
Yeah. CBT, yeah.
CBT, that had that for another issue that they'd had in the past, and they didn't want to go down that route again because they didn't find that it was helpful. It had somehow, whatever had happened, it made them feel as if they were to blame for the thing that was going on, and it just made things worse for them.
Right, okay. So. Okay, cool. No, excellent. And like I say, we've just been through your case studies, and they're all great. What are you now planning to do? I know that you're retiring soon. You're going to sort of work with that. I presume that's now your focus, working with people who have experienced trauma. Now, are you looking for people who've experienced the trauma, or the actual staff that have dealt with the trauma, the actual service people?
Well, that's the thing. I've got people who I work with at the moment who are going through traumas day and daily. Now, a lot of them don't recognize that they're going through it necessarily. It's just part of the work. But I know that there are a lot of people who I work with who are feeling, they're feeling tired. They're feeling jaded by the whole process. They're getting burned out over a period of time. I'd like to be able to do something initially to start helping them. I have colleagues from even jobs that I did previously, like that. I worked in areas before that where trauma was quite prevalent, and I'd like to sort of reach out to those communities as well, and try and help there. But what I would like to do really is to start up my own practice within sort of hypnotherapy and other sort of therapies, to help people with trauma-based problems, mostly PTSD type issues. That's where I really need to start.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I hope that IEMT will help you in an awful lot. And again, IEMT can be very much integrated to different models as well. That's what makes it really great. Yeah. So good luck with it. Thank you, David, for your time today. And I'll speak to you soon.
Thanks very much, Matt. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much indeed, sir.
Thank you.